Yeah, good afternoon everyone. So in this class, here we are discussing about the next topic of your gear in kinematic of machineries. So what we are discussing here means we are discussing in here velocity of a sliding teeth. Teeth, different types of teeth having different velocity level. We have to know. We are already discussed some ratios, and we have to discuss here the forms of teeth. Okay, and after that we have to go through problem, how the problem will ask, and how you will utilize your techniques to write the given data and substitute and take the formulas to complete that problem. Okay, so shall we start now? Make sure to give me your attendance while you are completing the video. Okay, first is velocity. Okay, velocity of a sliding teeth. It will comes under in your 1 mark, 2 mark, or else in that problem you will get this. Okay, the velocity of a teeth, it's nothing but it is a relative one tooth relative of its mating tooth along the common tangent at the point of contact. Where the point of contact is there, while the two gears are meshed with each other, at that point the point of contact will be there. At that point of contact, the tangent, one common tangent will be along to go. So that common tangent is having some velocity, that is a velocity of a sliding. The velocity of a sliding is always a proportional distance of the point of contact. Okay, always the velocity of a sliding of the gear is always proportional to the distance of the point of contact. It means that omega 1 by omega 2 is equal to O2p by OP is equal to Pn by MP. Omega 1 and omega 2 you know very well, that is the angular velocity. Okay, O2p by OP is equal to Pn by MP. You are already we are already discussed in the last class law of gearing. In that law of gearing, we discussed the two diagrams. One is your pinion and rack, and wheel and rack also. So in that case, we drawn some diagrams, some lines of common tangent. So at that point of view, I am taken that values here. Okay. So the velocity of a sliding, the main formula is Vs is equal to omega 1 plus omega 2 into Qp. Okay. Q is nothing but a point of contact. Okay. P to N is a perpendicular line, and M to P is a perpendicular line in that diagram. That is a 90 degree. Different forms of their teeth. We are having in that syllabus two types. One is cycloidal, or second one is involute. What is cycloidal teeth? Cycloidal teeth, it's a curved trace by a pointing on the circumference of the circle, and which is rolled without slipping. Cycloidal teeth are rolling with the circumference, and here there is no sliding, because of here the fixed straight line will be there. You can see here, if the cycloidal teeth roll and the teeth are outside the gear, that is a fixed circle, and it is called as epicycloid. If the teeth are inside the gear, and that is that the teeth are not slipping, that is called as hypocycloid. Okay, once again I am telling to you, the circle of the cycloidal teeth are rolled at that point, the teeth are there on the outer surface of the gear. That gear is known as epicycloid gear. Okay, and if the teeth are inside of the gear, and the circle of the gear will roll and make a curved trace point on the circumference, that is known as hypocycloid gear. Okay, This is your cycloidal teeth, involute teeth. In that involute teeth, you can here to assume, or you can see here there is without this also without slipping up point or torting string. It means we can say, in the other words, normal line is intersected at a point of involute and to the tangent is called involute teeth. What we can say here, normal line of the teeth that is intersected to the tangent, that is called as involute teeth. Here I just wrote the sentence. In the other words, normal at any point of an involute that is a tangent to the circle. What is involute teeth? In that involute teeth, the gear will be slipping or by a point of torting the string, which is unwound from the reel. So that's why we can say here, in the other words, normal line at any point of the involute teeth that is a tangent to the circle. Okay, so this point we will easily understand while we are doing the problem. So you can see here I just done for you one basic problem regarding this topic, and then that question is a single reduction gear of 120 kilowatt with the pinion 250 mm pitch diameter and the speed is 650 rpm is supported in bearing on the either side. Calculate the total load due to the power transmitted, the pressure of angle being 20 degree. Okay, here some given data is there and the calculation is asking, the question is asking to calculate the power transmitted, okay, with the pressure angle 20 degree. And here the question is saying to you, okay, here I given to you with that question and problem solve. Okay, the first we have to write the values. Okay, single reduction gear, which is first given data is, this is your power because of the unit in kilowatts. Power is given, P is equal to 120 kilowatts. We can convert into watts into 10 power of 3. Next, pitch circle diameter is given because our pinion diameter is a pitch circle diameter 250 mm, and we can take the radius also. R is equal to 125 mm. Okay, you can divide D is equal to R by 2, you will get that the R value is in terms of millimeter, and then after that if you want to convert that millimeter into meter, you have to divide the 1000, you will get 0.125 meter. Okay, speed of the gear is also given 650 rpm. Okay, as you know, the angular velocity is equal to 2 pi n by 60. Just substitute the value of rpm, speed 650, then you will get that here the angular velocity 68 radius per second. Why we are calculating the angular velocity? Due to the question is asking the power transmitted. So we have to find the for the purpose of power transmitted, we have to find the F is equal to Ft by cos phi. So Ft, we don't have a value of Ft. What is T? That T is a torque transmitted in Newton per meter. So if you want to know the value of T, you should go through the angular velocity. Because of the torque formula is T is equal to P by W. Okay. So you know power, but you don't have any value of angular velocity. That's why we are calculating here the angular velocity is equal to 2 pi n by 60. Okay. In that calci we will get the value 68 radius per second. Pressure angle is phi is equal to 20 degree. Now you can suppose that T is the torque transmitted in Newton per second, Newton per meter. Okay, then power, you know very well the power formula, P is equal to T into omega. So that just convert that cross multiplication, you will be get that here T is equal to P by omega. Just substitute the value here. So then after that, in that calcium we will get that the value 1765 Newton per meter. This is your torque transmitted in terms of Newton per meter. Then after that we have to find that the tangentially load on the pinion, because of the question is asking about the pinion. Here the pinion is mentioned. Okay, so tangentially load on the pinion, Ft is equal to T by R. In that case, Ft is equal to T. Just now we get the value of T 1765 by radius. How much the radius is there in terms of meter? 0.125 m meter. Why we are taking this in terms of meter? Due to the torque value is in terms of Newton per meter. That's why we are taking here the value in terms of meter. Okay, just substitute the value in that calci, then you will get the value Ft, tangential load, tangential force on the pinion is equal to 1412 in terms of Newton per meter. The last thing is, the question is asking to you to calculate the total load due to the power transmitted. Then F is equal to Ft by cos phi. Just now we get the value of Ft is equal to 1400/120 divided by cos 20. Then in that calci you will get that the value 15,026 Newton. Okay. If you want to convert this value in terms of kilonewton, you have to divide the 1000. Then you will get that the value 15.026 kilonewton. Okay, like this the question will be in there in your exam. Okay, you have to remember the concept and then write the given data and go through the concept. Then only you will be get that the value of the question. Okay, the next is the, here we are discussing about the involute and cycloidal gears advantages. How many advantages are there and how they are different. So we have to compare first between involute and cycloid gear. So the commonly compared cycloid and involute gears are here. The first is the certain center distance between a pair of involute gear can be varied with a limit without changing the velocity, but it not true in cycloidal gear. What we are saying here means, in that involute gear, the central distance between the pair of involute gear can be varied. The pair of involute gear can be varied with the changing of velocity ratio in involute gear, but it will not be happen in the cycloidal gear. The changing of velocity ratio is there in involute gear, but the changing of velocity ratio in terms of pair of gears are not be happen in cycloidal gear. So you have to remember what is the difference here in that advantage. The next is, for the smooth running teeth, it is a necessary less wear of gear. Whenever you are seeing, if you want to run the gears are in smooth manner without noisy, so it means you have to manufacture as per the less wearing of gear and pressure angle. If it is a pressure angle will same all the T's on the gear, that gear will be moved in a smooth manner. Okay. If you are seeing any two gears are meshed to each other and they are not producing any noise and they are easily meshing, it means the engagement gear and starting engagement of the gear and end of the engagement gear are a constant velocity ratio. But in case of cycloidal, we can see the maximum level of the pressure angle will be there while the gear are starting the engagement. While they are ending the engagement, the pressure angle will be reduced in that cycloidal gear. Okay. The third one is the face and the flank of involute teeth are generated by a single curve, whereas a cycloidal gear are double curve. So here the difference is the face and flank on the teeth of the involute gear are designed by a single curve. But in case of cycloidal gear, the face and flank will be designed by a double curve. What is the advantage of cycloidal gears are here? Here the cycloidal gears have a wider flank. Therefore, the cycloidal gears are strong. Due to the wider flank, the cycloidal gears are strong, and compared to involute gears, the cycloidal gears are strong. For the same pitch, at the same pitch, cycloidal gears are strong compared to the involute gear. The second is here the resultant condition of the wearing of the cycloidal is less compared to involute. The third one is cycloidal gears interference does not occur at all. Though there are advantages of cycloidal gear, but they are outweighed. Cycloidal gears are not interfaces any other components of their machineries. So that's why it is a very advantage for us, but it is outweighed because of the involute gears are simplicity and flexibility compared to the cycloidal gears. The next is very important system of gear teeth. It's a very important. There are 4 types of system of gear teeth are there. Again I am repeating to you, the system of gear teeth are 4 types. One is 14 1 by 2 degree composite system, 14 1 by 2 full depth involute system, and 20 degree is a full depth involute system, and 20 degree again the last is stub involute system. These are the 4 different angles of the gear teeth. If you are seeing the gear, any gear, that angles on the surface of the gear, some teeth are there. So every teeth should be same angle. If it is in 14 1 by 2 degrees there, or if it is 20 degrees there. Okay. What does it mean? 14 1 by 2 degree means the 14 1 by 2 degree is a composite system, is used for the purpose of to general gear, and that is a stronger but has no interchangeability. Means apart from this type of gear, on the surface of the gear, the angle of the teeth are, if the teeth are, the angle of the teeth are 14 1 by 2 degree, it means that teeth are stronger compared to the others, but there is no interchangeability. Okay. Here, if the tooth if the tooth of the profile of the gear, if it is in the full depth involved, that was developed used with the gear halves for spur and helical gear. Okay. If it is 14 1 by 2 degree full, it means the total entire teeth are there on the gear. Either the gear is a spur gear or either the gear is a helical gear. The total entire gear will be is the same angle, that is useful to form a power to transfer a power from one gear to another gear. The third one is the tooth profile of the 20 degree full depth involve the system may cut by the hoops the increasing of the pressure angle from 14 to 1 by 2 degree to 20 degree. It means the cut section of the surface of the gear is fully involved in the total gear system. It means it gives the pressure angle increase from 14 1 by 2 degree to 20 degree. That is your third one. And the last one is 14 for the 20 degree stub involved. The system has a strongly tooth to take heavy loads. While if you are seeing any gears on the surface or inside of the gear, if it is a 20-degree angle of the teeth, if you are seeing that 20-degree of the teeth are involving for the why we are creating like that 20-degree. For that type of gears are involving in a heavy duty loads. Okay. So the last is here we are seeing the different types of measurements are there for the purpose of to standard proportion of the gear system. These are the standard proportion of the gear system. While you are manufacturing or designing the gear, you have to remember these points. Addendum, you know very well which addendum will be there in that gear. Okay, addendum in that composite for full depth 1 meter should be there. Depth, here these are the depth conditions of the teeth. If it is a full depth involute system, that is also a 1 depth will be there. If in this case stub involute system, in that the gear having a 20-degree angle on the surface of the surface, and the tooth should having a depth distance 0.8 meter. Like that, the addendum, working depth, minimum total depth, total thickness, minimum clearance, filter, radius at roots. So like this, the everyone having some depth will be there. Next, the another question is for you. I have done, that is a very important question. You have to practice this question after this completion of my video, or you have to practice and submit that notes to me or show to me while you are coming to the lab exam. If you are having any doubts regarding this problem, you can feel to ask me. Okay, the question is asking to you the number of teeth on each of the two equal spur gears is mesh are 40 degree. So what the question is asking, giving to you, the two gears are there, like this the two gears are there, the gears are spur gear, and about this apart from of these gears, the outer surface of the gear having teeth. So how many teeth are there? 40 teeth are there, both of them. Okay, then they are having a angle, pressure angle. Both are having a same pressure angle, that is a 20 degree, and they are meshing to each other, and they are from the involute profile. The question is already said here, the involute profile, and the module is also given 6 mm. If the arc of contact is 1.75 times of circular pitch, arc of contact, in that case the question is giving in the condition in terms of hint. 1.75 in the arc of contact is 1.75 times of circular pitch. So first we have to write that given data here. Number of teeth in each spur gear, T is equal to 40. Angle of the teeth is given, pressure angle phi is equal to 20. Module is given, M is equal to 6 mm. Length of the arc is also given in terms of condition 1.75 times of circular pitch. As you know, we know that the circular pitch is equal to PC is equal to pi into m. Just substitute the value of pi m, then you will get that the value of circular pitch. Then after that we have to substitute the value of PC in arc of contact, 1.75 into 18.85, then we will get the value of arc of contact. Then after that the question is asking to you to calculate, okay, the question is asking to you to find the contact ratio. So in that contact ratio you have to find first length of the path of contact. Contact ratio is equal to the length of the path of contact. So we have to find the length of the path of contact is equal to length of the arc of contact into cos phi. Length of the arc contact, just now I calculate here, that is the value is 33 mm into cos 20 degree. Then we will get here the 31 mm of the length of the path of contact. Then next just we have to suppose let RA is equal to small r is equal to radius of the addendum circle for each wheel. Okay. We know that the pitch of the circle radius is equal to capital R is equal to small r is equal to m into t by 2. This is the pitch circle radius. Okay, just substitute the value of r, m, then you will get that the capital R 120 mm. Okay, then length of the path of contact is equal to, the formula is in this, there in your textbooks, under root of RA square plus R square cos square phi. Okay, now just you have to substitute the value of RA, just now I gave RA, we take the value where the RA is equal to small ra and capital R is equal to small r. RA is the value, how much the value is the RA. Okay, the next is length of the path of contact is equal to under root of RA square minus R square cos square phi. Okay, plus under root of small RA square minus R square cos square phi minus R plus small r sin phi. This is the total entire formula for the length of the contact. You can see here from this, and this is the last one. Okay, next here you have to interchange the value of capital R into small r, and capital RA is equal to small ra. Okay, just now we done the value of length of path of contact 31 mm, length of path of contact. Just substitute the value length of path of contact here and change this value in terms of RA and R. Okay, here I change the next last one is minus R plus capital R sin phi. Okay, the next these are the two same, that's why I taken 2 times of under root of RA square minus R square cos square phi, then minus R plus R 2R, that's why I take the 2 common here, R sin phi. Then here the right hand side the 2 is in multiplication, that it will goes to the left hand side in that division. Okay, then after that in that calci we will get that the value 15.5. Okay, now substitute the value here. We don't know about the RA, we know about the R. Substitute the value of R when we know about the I angle. Okay, then after that we will get the under root of RA square minus 1276. Here we will get that the value 15.5 plus 14.441. Then after that squaring on both sides, the root will be cancel, then add this and square them, then we will get 3192, and after that just make the rearrangement and then add these 2 points and we will get the RA square. Then if you want to know RA, just pass the R square from left hand side to right hand side, it will be make a root under root of 4467. Just substitute the value in that root in the calci, you will be get 126.2 mm. Okay, the last thing is the question is asking to you the addendum of the wheel. So addendum of the wheel is equal to RA minus R. Then at this point we will get the addendum of the wheel is 6.12. Okay, like this the same question is there here. For you, for the purpose of you, I wrote this problem. Okay, so the next problem here, the question is giving you the given data, the pinion. In this question we are seeing the pinion or teeth. The two different gears are there. In that pinion the 30 teeth are there, and the teeth having and the gear having 80 teeth are there. Okay, and the pinion is driver and the gear is driven. Okay, the question is saying to you the profile of the gear is involute, gear profile is involute, and also given the pressure angle and module. Okay, and the addendum also, distance of the addendum between the gear and pinion. Find the length of the path of contact. The question is asking you to length of the path of contact you have to find, and the arc of contact as well as the contact ratio. Like that, just now we completed the problem. Like that we have to find. But in this case, the sum of them is different. So which is different? We have to know first. First we have to write the given data. Number of the teeth of the pinion, T is equal to 30. Number of the teeth of the gear, capital T is equal to 80. That's why we are taking in terms small t we are represented for the pinion, capital T for the represented for the gear. Pressure angle phi, how much the pressure angle is given? 20 degree. Here the question is having 20 degree pressure angle. M is the module. M is equal to 12 mm. Okay. In that some question the pressure angle it will not be given in terms of like pressure angle, it will be shows angle of the obliquity. Okay, addendum also given 10 millimeter. The next question is asking to you first length of the path of contact. Length of the path of contact. Okay, as you know, if you want to find the length of the path of contact, you have to go through from the radius of the pitch circle, radius of the pinion, as well as pitch circle of the radius of the gear. So pitch circle of the radius of the pinion I am denoting as a small r, always denoted as small r is equal to m into t by 2, and just substitute the value small r, you will be get the value, and the pitch circle of the radius of the gear, that is a capital R is equal to m into capital T by 2. Then here you will be get a capital R also. The next, the radius of the addendums of the circle of a pinion, means the radius of the addendum of a circle of a pinion is equal to RA is equal to R plus addendum. How much the addendum is given, we have to substitute here, then we will add them. Small RA is equal to 190 mm. That is the radius of the addendum circle of the pinion. Like that we have to find the radius of the addendum circle of a gear also. Capital RA is equal to R plus addendum. Then we will get the value 490 mm. Then we know that length of the path of contact is equal to, the formula is Kp is equal to under root of RA square minus R square cos phi minus R sin phi. Okay, this is your formula for the length of the path of contact. Just substitute the value of the length of the path of contact, then you will be get that the Kp is equal to 27.3 millimeter. Then length of the path of rest, remaining part, versus PL, that is called as PL. PL is equal to under root of RA square, small RA square plus minus small r square cos square phi minus r sin phi. In that rest path of the length, PL is equal to small RA or R in terms of, or the length of path of contact is a capital RA or R in terms. Okay, just now substitute the value, you will be get the PL. Okay, the length of path of contact, the formula is actually KL is equal to KP plus PL. So just now we calculate the length of path of contact in terms of KP or PL. Then substitute the KP or PL value here, then you will be get the length of the path of contact value. The second thing is the question is asking to you the length of arc. What is the question is asking to you? The length of contact arc. Okay. Then the third thing is contact ratio. So go through the second thing. The second thing here, the length of path of arc of contact is equal to the length of path of contact by cos phi. Just now we calculate the length of the path of contact, that value is 52.3, just divided by cos 20 degree, then we will get that the length of arc of contact. Okay. What is contact ratio? Here the question is asking to you to find the contact ratio. So for the purpose of to find the contact ratio, you have to find first circular pitch. Circular pitch, as you know, just in that previous class we or in this class, the first problem or second problem we discussed about the circular pitch is equal to PC is equal to pi into m. Just substitute the value of module and calculate them in that calc sheet, then you will be getting the value 37.7 meter. Then contact ratio, the formula of the contact ratio is a length of arc of contact. Here you can see the length of arc of contact by cos phi. Okay. How much phi is nothing but your pressure angle. Just substitute the value and then you will be getting the answer 1.5. That is your contact ratio. Like this, the question will be asked you in that LAQ. The same phenomena and concept will be there. You have to practice this question. Then only you will be easily get these problems. Okay. Don't worry about this problem. If anyone does not understand about this problem, you can feel free to ask me in that comment section, or you can come to the college while you are coming to the lab. Then after the lab you can easily ask to me any doubt, then I will explain you again. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video, and you have to give me the attendance in that comment section, and make sure to you have to subscribe and like my channel also. Okay.